What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I come, kind of annoyed. I'm sure a lot of you saw on the weekend if you're a Jet fan. Even if you're not, it was kind of, league-wide news that Rutger McGroarty is on the trade block from the Winnipeg Jets because it seems like they've kind of fumbled the situation with him. He's Winnipeg's #1 prospect right now, winger playing for the University of Michigan, drafted in the first round, 14th overall in 2022, and the guy has been amazing. His charisma is contagious as well. He's, coveted by a lot of the fans here as, a future captain down the line. Like, he is going to be an impact player in the NHL, and he's a great person, yada, yada, yada. He's going to be very good. So it seemed like at the end of the season, Rutger wanted to get ready to sign with Winnipeg, get his NHL career going, and the Jets essentially said, okay, you can come over, but there's no guarantee you'll actually be in the NHL. You'll likely be developing in the AHL. And Rutger was like, okay, well, what the hell? I'm pretty much NHL ready. You drafted me in the first round. Why did you draft me in the first round if you're just gonna, keep me down there? Rutger is an NHL player, and, I'm gonna touch on that a little bit later down the line, but he knows he's an NHL player. He knows he's ready, and the Jets just seem to value guys like Alex Iafallo, who's, been floating around for the last 60 games last season, Mason Appleton, who does about the same thing as Alex Iafallo, and other guys in the bottom six over their #1 prospect. I don't get it. It makes zero sense to me for a number of reasons. First of all, the Jets are losing Tyler Toffoli to free agency. That's expected. We know that. Sean Monahan likely as well. And you have trade talks possibly going on with Nikolai Ehlers. So why wouldn't you want a guy on his entry-level cheap contract around, just under $1 million for the next 3 years to step into your lineup and be a cheap impact option if he works out? But instead you're playing guys like Mason Appleton, Alex Iafallo, David Gustafsson over him. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. And I feel for Rutger here. I see a lot of people saying that, oh, Rutger's a bad person for this. Oh, Rutger's a bitch for wanting to be in the NHL and shit like that. And I don't understand it. I don't know what you guys are on about. Rutger has every right to be pissed off. I guarantee you there's, 25 other teams in the league that would have signed him to an ELC as soon as his season ended, said, you're going to get playing time next season. And I'm just completely disappointed in Winnipeg that they did not go ahead and do that for him. So just like that, their #1 prospect out on the trade market. It does seem like a trade is imminent. If one gets done before Friday, I expect there to be draft picks involved. I would really prefer the Jets not to trade for a draft pick in this first round unless it's, incredibly high, but I don't think they're getting a top 5 pick for McGroarty, as good as he is. But it's going to be interesting. I do wonder about Carolina. The Jets are reportedly in still on Martin Necas. That's been thrown out there by Chris Johnson on his show. So, maybe they put a package together for Martin Necas. I would imagine that the Canes would be kind of interested in him. I know they're looking for a defenseman in return in the top 4, but, we'll see how that all works out. Martin Necas would look very good in a Winnipeg Jets uniform. But the thing that bothers me here the most is that if this was just a one-off, this thing happened with Rutger, they had a disagreement and they needed to trade him, you know what, fine. But it hasn't been a one-off. There's been reports also with McGroarty that he's scared about how Winnipeg's developed their prospects in the last few years. He's seen what the Jets have done to Ville Heinola, guy that looked like he could stick in the NHL even at 18 years old, went back to Finland for, a year of seasoning, and he came back and he's been buried on the moose pretty much ever since, getting very scarce NHL time. Obviously last year he won his spot, did get hurt, so that is a bit of an exception. But next season, if he's not in the lineup for Winnipeg, I mean, God, that's just awful for him. I don't know what's going to happen with Ville Heinola. I hope he's in the lineup next year. Deserves to be in the lineup. So talk about that later. With Cole Perfetti, the guy was scoring half a point per game this season and still found his way to the press box for the back half of the season after Tyler Toffoli was, moved to Winnipeg. And, Cole played Game 5 of the Stanley Cup first round there with Winnipeg and Colorado, and he looked like one of the best players on the ice that game. So, do with that what you will. He sees what's going on here. He sees the development process for these guys, and like when was the last time a prospect was properly developed for Winnipeg? If we're talking first rounders, probably Kyle Connor. Liney's an exception, I guess, because, instant, top 3 pick, the guy's going to be there. But, I don't know. When was the last time they developed somebody properly into the NHL that's with the team? Like, is it Sandberg? It's rough, guys. And I get it. I get being scared off by this and, fearing that you're going to be sitting in the AHL for a couple of years. Rutger has leverage now where he can, kind of decide his own destiny, in which he doesn't have to sign with Winnipeg, and he can go, further his career somewhere else. It's not a Winnipeg problem, really, for Rutger in terms of, living in Winnipeg. It's a Winnipeg problem in terms that he's scared he's going to get, ruined in his development, and I totally don't blame him. I get it. He should be a Winnipeg Jet. He should be in the Jets, middle six playing. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And if you're True North Sports and Entertainment and you're trying to sell tickets, this doesn't help. Rutger's a fan favorite over here in Winnipeg. We love the guy. And now you're in a situation where management screwed it up and you need to figure out a trade for him, essentially. And, it sucks. A lot of people don't like this. The Jets do this seemingly every year, where there's a disgruntled player and they have to move him. What is going on with management? Why is there such a disconnect from coaching to management to, the upper people over there at True North? Why is there such a disconnect? Why? That is the most, untalked about thing here in Winnipeg. There seems to be such a disconnect from management to, the higher ups at True North and to coaching. It seems like there's always a disconnect. Every single time Kevin Cheveldayoff gets to the podium, he gloats and beams about how good Hanel is. And then the Jets turn around and he's not on the ice. And whoever's coaching, whether it's Maurice, whether it's Bonus, now it's Arneal, he's not on the ice. And Kevin Cheveldayoff obviously feels very highly of some of the players that he's brought in, but some of the coaches just do not play them. And it's very frustrating. It's got to be incredibly frustrating for Kevin, but it's got to be frustrating for True North Sports, who's trying to sell out arenas, trying to push their product to the fans, and the fans aren't reciprocating because they're tired of what they're seeing on the ice. How many people canceled their season tickets a year or two ago? Tons. This does not help the situation. Now, the Jets are going to go forward here, I'm sure, try to get a very good package for Rutger. He's going to draw a big package. But the frustrating thing is that wherever Rutger goes, he's going to be an impact player there for a long time and potentially a future captain, as I had mentioned before. And it's just, it's annoying as a fan to see this, because this was a guy we were very excited to see here in Winnipeg, and it seems like a very easy situation to where they can say, hey, you know what, Rutger, you're in the lineup, and they can go from there. But doesn't seem like that's going to happen. I don't anticipate that there's going to be any, making up here. I don't think there's going to be anybody changing their minds. I imagine this is the end of Rutger McGroarty's time here in Winnipeg before he even played a game. I think he's going to bring home a big package. As I said before, the Jets should be targeting center or right-handed shot defense. But that's where I'm at with it. It's very frustrating, and that's all I got, truthfully. Leave a comment down below what you think about the situation. Again, if you're going to bash Rutger, I don't get it. Fly a kite, dude. Get real. That's all I got. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you feel like it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Go Jets, go. Bye-bye.